And we're back with some more Satisfactory. And today our higgledy-piggledy factory is going to get a little bit of an upgrade. Though I should cover, we have actually outsourced an awful lot of the production to take the strain off this sort of really weird-looking main bus design. I mean, our main bus is holding up, but the only reason it's holding up is because of the amount we've outsourced. All of our Alcad and aluminum casing, all of that comes in via trains. So that's all like outsourced over there somewhere. Down here, we've got our heavy modular frames. They're coming in from a factory over, I think it's that direction? Yeah, I want to say, wait, no, that direction? Yeah, over there. There's you can actually see them just off in the distance. But there is a heavy modular frame production facility over there, and that takes an awful lot of pressure off our main bus as well. We've even got that heavy modular frame production producing steel beams. I did a minor upgrade to it, so you can see that belt there. That steel beam's being shipped in as well. So all of our steel beam production is being done off-site. And finally over here we've got, this one's bringing in circuit boards, high-speed controllers, and AI cores. All of them, they're all being shipped in as well. So that's taken an awful lot of strain off of our production. Oh, there's even, you know what? One other thing we've actually kind of done is if you look down there, that's all of our oil production. So all of our plastic and rubber, all of it comes from down there. Every single bit of it. So technically it's outsourced. True, it's not coming in by train, but we built that in, and it's 600 of each. In fact, well, not quite 600 of each. The way it works out is it can produce 1200 and it can load balance a bit. So if you need, say, 700 plastic but only 500 rubber, it'll balance out that way. It doesn't really mind so much. So that has taken an awful lot of strain off our main bus. There is, however, a little bit left. Just one last project that needs doing. This here is the calculator we've been using the whole time. And seriously, I don't know how anyone does large production runs without using a calculator like this. But under here you can put in items and inputs. So what I've done is I've said, oh, we're shipping in 21 of those, 41 of those, and this is all of the inputs we're bringing in, even the aluminum casing, the alclad, the plastic, the rubber, all of that. And this removes this from our production run. And this is what we're trying to work out at. 8 assembly directors, 8 magnetic field generators, 2 nuclear pasta, 2 thermal propulsion rockets. Why? Well, it's a reasonable amount. Okay, it's not actually that reasonable. It's pretty unreasonable. We would have been better off making smaller amounts and then just letting it run out overnight. But yeah, where's the fun in that? We played the game to have fun, not to be too efficient. You want to be a little bit efficient, but not so efficient we're taking the fun out of the game. Anyway, the problem is, though, items. If you look under here, we'll see like 162 K-Tyrium ore is what we require. That's nothing. Like tiny amounts of coal, iron ore, nitrogen gas, raw quartz is actually pretty high, but we need just all of that for the actual crystal oscillators. But it's the copper ore. That is what's killing us. The amount of copper ore we require, and if we come down here, where is it? Under copper ingots, you can see of the 2,724 we require, 2,400 of them are required for copper powder. This is a prime candidate for outsourcing. And I think I have the perfect location to do that in. But before we do go and take care of that, I've just noticed there's when I was coming up here getting prepped, I noticed there's a yellow slug over there that I haven't gone and gotten yet. I think I'm just going to pop over there and grab it. And also, as well as that, there was a purple one around here. Yeah, there's a purple one over there. So just give me a minute. I got to go grab those. I am not even sure why I still collect these slugs. That's an extra 3 slugs to throw in there. But we've already got 147 power shards, plus however many shards we'll get out of the bugs that are in there. I just don't. I can't stop, I suppose. Once you see them, you get kind of addicted to doing it. Alright, let's go and check out this new location we found. It's actually pretty close by. And by pretty close by, I mean directly underneath us. There's 2 normal copper nodes down here, and they'll produce us 600 copper ore apiece. In fact, we've got, was it 1 belt here bringing in copper ore, 1 belt bringing in iron ore, and then a 3rd belt over there bringing in more copper ore from that side. In fact, the copper mine you can see just over there. And if we just head over here just a teensy-wincy little bit, you'll see there's the iron mine and there's the copper mine. This is rather handy for us because, as you can see, our base is directly above us, blotting out the sun. Though I really have to expand that concrete to blot out more of the sun. I mean, kind of promised we were going to do that. But then I just built in this little platform here. I even stuck in, look, there's some concrete-looking supports down here, so it doesn't look completely ridiculous. I mean, alright, maybe it should do more supports or something, but, you know, for me, that's good enough. Now we just put in this here. Now, when it came to doing this, my first thought was to use refineries, like this. And then what we could do is we could use the pure recipe. So you can use pure copper ingots. This takes in 6 copper ore and spits out 15 copper ingots. That's a hell of a bargain, right? However, it requires us to put in water. And these things are huge and it requires piping and all of that. But the comments were very helpful. They said, no. Go grab a foundry. grab a foundry here and you make alternative copper alloy ingots. You put in 10 copper ore, 5 iron ore, and you get out 20 copper ingots. Effectively, you're doubling the amount of copper ore you're getting out, and all you're wasting is some iron ore, which is rather plentiful. This means we put in, say, well, 1200 copper ore and 600 iron ore, and we can double it to get the 2400 copper powder we're going to need, or 2400 copper ingots we're going to need. And all we have to do is hook up belts. Just belts. No messing around with piping or anything like that, and we can use the smart mod to hook everything up in terms of splitters and all that. Yes, that's exactly what we're going to do. Now just give me a minute while I line these up. So things got done. This is 4 rows of 6 of these. The reason being, these things just produce so much that they quickly just max out any line you put them on. This spits out 100 copper ingots per minute. So 7 of these, actually, yeah, you couldn't put more than 7 of these on one line, otherwise they'd max out the output belt. That makes them just incredibly handy. Now this end down here, what we've done is we've actually just got a bunch of splitters. It even looks nice and neat. This is the iron ore. The iron ore comes in here. We need 600 of this, 300 for each line. And then that splits out, well, it gets sent over here and split out, and gets sent over there and split out. So we'll just hook these up now. You go into there, and you go into there. Oh, and autosave. Yeah, I've set that to like once every 15 minutes now, and it's still getting pretty slow. And done on that side. Now let me just do up the other side as well. Done. Alright, so we have 600 iron ore being spread out between 24 of these. That's a lot. But then we've got the copper ore coming in here. We've got 1 belt coming in here, and that is only split out between 2. Namely because, well, this requires more copper ore than iron ore. Twice as much. So we split those in under there, and that gets split out between those 2. And they should start producing now. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Production has already started. In that case, we can start plugging in these ones as well. Easy peasy. There you go. 2400 copper ingots per minute. 2400. Yeah, I really should go through the numbers of why this is so stupidly, ridiculously overpowered. I mean, even compared to the water ones, like the water-based version does produce more for the amount you put in. It takes so much more effort. This requires so little effort and so little space and produces so much. Anyway, I will get these outputs here and we're going to plug those into copper powder production. We might have to extend our platform just a little bit. Little bit of a complication. Turns out we can't make copper powder because we don't have the necessary tech. A little bit of an oversight on my part. Turns out I forgot to get the last milestone, the particle enrichment. I actually had just queued up the cooling systems and had completely blanked it. Well, we can now knock that out. That is no problems. We've got all that stuff on our bus. Boom, problem solved. Now we've got copper powder.
Milestone reached.
Let's double check to make sure that's done. There we go. Yeah, copper powder. Perfect. Alright, and actually, while we're at it, we can start up some more hard drive research. That should unlock some more recipes for us. Alright, let's get back down there and finish out the copper powder. This worked out incredibly nicely. In comparison to some of the other builds you have to do, this was pleasant. Okay, I think it was definitely the choice of using those foundries and the mixed ingots recipe. That makes things so much simpler. Anyway, all the copper ingots come out to the end, and then they get shoved into, well, 2 of these converters into copper powder. So you can see this one here is probably the easiest to notice. The copper ingots go in there, they get turned into copper powder, it comes out here and merges, and then comes out here and merges again. This will spit out the 400 copper powder per minute we need to hit our goals. And look how nice and compact and small it is. Actually, I just want to show you the alternatives we had and how much worse they all were. This remarkably small and compact little thing is the production run we're using. 24 foundries, 8 constructors. Now, the 8 constructors will never change. There's no alternative recipes for copper powder, unfortunately. So that was just it. So all we had to really worry about was inputs and how we converted them all into copper ingots. So 24 foundries, 600 iron ore and 1200 copper ore. If, however, we had went with the water-based version where you wash them down, well, 640 water, 960 copper ore, as in we've dropped from 1200 copper ore and 600 iron ore to just 960 copper ore, so plenty of savings. However, you require 64 refineries. Dear God, 64 of them. Not only that, the power requirements are just incredible. It's 1,952 megawatts. Want to make a wild guess how much our one's using? It's 416. So a quarter of the power requirements for this design and about a third the buildings. And you don't have to use any piping. This would have to get us to pipe water and do all... No. No, 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 no. The other option was to just use, basic smelters, as in a 1-to-1 ratio of copper ore to... Actually, it's 1-to-1, yeah, it's 1-to-1 of copper ore to copper ingots, which 80 smelters. 80 smelters. The only advantage this thing has is it's actually slightly more power efficient at 352 megawatts. So it's about 25% more power efficient than the method we used, but it requires so many more smelters, and we would have required twice as much copper ore. No, we don't even have that much copper ore nearby. We'd be running them from miles away. So this just worked out really nicely. So long as you've got a little bit of iron ore to mix with it, it's fine. And iron ore is everywhere. The whole map is covered in iron ore. This here is our actual production section. That's where we're standing. We're looking down on top of all of our foundries, making all of that stuff. But where's all the resources? Well, all of that resources is not that far away indeed. We check copper here. We actually have a copper node over here and a copper node over here. Now both of these are only normal, so they can only produce 600 per minute. And then we throw in, say, iron ore. There's some iron ore right around here and some iron ore over here, meaning we can just get these two here and double their output just by combining them with one normal iron node. That makes things so much simpler. There's also a third copper node over there, so we could have got 1800 copper if we really wanted, but any more we would have had to drag from, well, really far away. This just made this so much more convenient. This actually makes this recipe one of my favorites now. Anyway, enough gushing over that one. It's time to go back up top. That's the last outpost we need to build. We will have to figure out how we're going to plug that into our grid, but first we have to build the nuclear pasta, I believe. The nuclear pasta is what actually requires that copper powder. So we have to finish out our production upstairs, as in we have to take our main bus up there, and we have to fill in all the blanks, the ones we didn't take care of while we were going along, as in we just built as much as we needed, but now we've got to upgrade it. We've got to upgrade it to the necessary amount so that we can build everything we can in the top right at the speeds we want. Give me a minute. This here is the start of our bus, all the way at the beginning. Off in that foggy distance, you can see the end of our bus. Down here is iron ingot production. Now, according to our little calculator thing, we need about 10 iron ingot smelters to produce enough iron ingots for what we're supposed to be doing. Which, yes, we actually already have those installed. As well as that, we need about 8 smelters doing steel ingots, which... yeah, we've already got those installed too. It's almost like I had planned this ahead. I didn't. I swear I didn't. But this is... what is this? This is Mark IV transport belt. I came back here and upgraded this to Mark IV, I think, at some point, because we needed the steel ingots for whatever we were producing at the time. But, yep, done, I suppose. We don't have to worry about that anymore. I think the next thing up is reinforced iron plate, mainly because this is steel beams, and we don't need steel beams. Steel beams are all being produced off-site. Reinforced iron plate, however, we do need a little bit of that. For the reinforced iron plate, we need about two production facilities of that, and as far as I'm aware, we already have those installed too. That's actually clocked normally. How about this one over here? It's actually not quite 2 of them we need, it's actually at 1 point something, but yeah, it seems we have enough reinforced iron plate. Let me just start going along here, but from what I can see, we actually have quite a bit of the early stuff already sorted. For example, I think next up is copper. Copper, we need, 11 of these. Actually, never mind, we don't have enough copper. There we go, 11. And it'd be interesting to know that all of that, every single last piece of that copper ore is going to be going towards making copper wire. That's it. We don't even need this, actually, the next section is deuterium. We don't even need this to make those copper coils. What do you call them? Copper sheets. All of the copper sheets are used off-site to make circuit boards and things like that, so we don't actually need copper sheets on our main bus. According to the calculator, we need 7 deuterium refineries. I think we're covered. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We got 11 of them. We may have actually overproduced on that. Concrete-wise, we don't need it. All of that encased beam is being made off-site, so who cares? Yeah, that concrete is not actually necessary at all. This is our little mall for the minor components, screws, cable, all that stuff, so none of this actually matters. And then, steel pipe. How much of that do we need? 13. So we need 13 of those, and... 1 second while I count this. Yep, there's 13 there, and I've upgraded this. Did I come back and upgrade this at some point and then forget all about it? Or did I just need it for something else? Actually, that was required for a lot of modular frame or heavy encased beams at the time. Those encased beams were vitally important, so I think I upgraded that an awful lot. Though it's got Mark V belt. I must have come back after aluminium? Oh, never mind. Anyway, that is done. Then there's the encased steel beams. We don't need those. The encased steel beams are only necessary for heavy modular frames. We don't need those because heavy modular frames are all imported. That means the next thing up here is going to be modular frames. We only need a small amount of these, and actually we only need slightly less than 2. What are you at? You're, yeah, 92%, and you should also be, yeah. Oh wow, yeah, we have more than enough. So modular frames also covered. This upgrade process has so far been rather painless, considering we haven't actually needed to upgrade anything but copper so far. And there you have those copper coils or spools, whatever. Yeah, we don't actually need those at all, like not even a little bit. The reason being they're all used for circuitry and things like that. We don't need them. AI cores, no, we don't need those either. This is for the AI, not AI cores, AI limiters. Yeah, we don't need the AI limiters either. And, ooh, crystal oscillators. How many of these things do we need? And why is that not producing? So, it turns out, for the crystal oscillators, we need 21.57 manufacturers producing crystal oscillators. 21.57. That's, we're running 4. We're running 4, yeah, we're going to need a few more of those, aren't we? Dear Lord Jesus. Alright, yeah, I'll be back in a bit, like, give me half an hour, maybe? Jesus Christ. 22 manufacturers producing crystal oscillators. Just beautiful. Going off into the distance, we had to throw down a whole bunch of concrete. But hey, it got made, and now we're producing lots of them. Actually, what's our power per consumption looking like right about now? It's going to be pretty good. Max consumption 24,000 megawatts, and we're producing 32. We're fine. We're probably fine. Yeah, we'll be grand. I don't think we're going to go over before we finish getting everything done. Let's see what's next up. Next up is rotors. For rotors, we need 4.25 or 4 1/4 buildings producing it, and we have 1, 2, 3. Ah, God, we got 4. You know what? I'm just going to overclock one. If we just need 4.25. What we can do is just grab one building and overclock it just to scooch. Oh no, then I'd have to overclock those 2 buildings. Yeah, I've got them doing direct feeding, unless these are underclocked. Turns out by overclocking this just a teeny tad to 5 per minute instead of 4, 125%, we just had to put those back up to, they were actually being underclocked already, so we just reclocked them a little bit higher, and this whole thing's done. That saves us 5 minutes. Just sometimes, you know, sticking in one of those overclocking shards does save a whole bunch of time. Now, next up, what are we looking at? What's in here? Ooh, satyrs. We are short on satyrs. I'm guessing we're going to need a few more of those. According to the list, we need 17.33 satyr producers. Now, I'm not doing it in terms of how many satyrs we need, more how many buildings producing them we need, because otherwise it just gets really confusing. But using our recipe, or what we're preferring to do, yeah, we're going to need a lot of these. And how am I actually even making these? Okay, so we're putting in steel pipe and wire to get out satyrs on these 2, and then we have this one feeding in from there, giving them the wire. Oh, this is going to get complicated. Yeah, give me a few minutes. So this was the worst one so far, and it's all my own dumb fault. What I decided to do when I was making these was I was only hooking up 2 of them, and they needed steel pipe and wire. And we don't have wire on the bus. We have the steel pipe, so we just bring that in. But the wire we sort of make on site. To make it, we bring in copper ingots and caterium ingots, and we spit out 80 wire per minute. Perfect, right? And these things over here take 40 apiece. So if these take 40 wire apiece each, and this thing produces 80, then we hook one of these up to 2 of these, and we're done. Until we decide we need to extend it on, and we need, what was it, 20-something of them, or 18 of them. In which case, I had to go down and manually put in all the belts everywhere. You see, the problem is, there was no real way to automate this with the smart mod, because I can't, like, it's one of these, then, well, 1 wire producer, then 2 satyr producers. 1 wire producer, 2 satyr producers. And back and forth it goes. This was, interesting. Anyway, I am just going to finish hooking up all the wire, and we should then be finished with this section. We are now producing 87 stators. Stators? I keep calling them stators. Satyrs, not stators. Whatever. We're producing 87 of them per minute, and this consumes all of the steel pipe we have left on the bus. As in, I think we have about 13 steel pipe production facilities, and all of them are dedicated towards this one line here. It just eats all of our steel pipe. That's, kind of impressive. Alright, with that done, let's get on to the next section. Next section is motors. How many of these do you need? Please tell me you don't need 2. 1.96 motors. Please tell me these aren't underclocked or anything. Are they 100% clock speed? How are you looking over here? You are also 100% clock speed. Perfect. Motors are done then. Oh, thank God. It's just after that last one I was like, God, give me a break for a minute. Just 1 minute, right? We don't need green circuits. Circuits are being produced elsewhere, so we can actually disconnect this from the bus if we want. Yep, never mind. Next up, ooh, computers. Wait, do we make those offsite? No, we don't. Computers, we need 12 production facilities for those. Oh god. Please tell me you're not even underclocked or anything. Right, so we just need 12 more. This should actually be fairly straightforward if a little bit tight against that cliff. I mean, there's literally only 2 resources. This is one of the easiest computer recipes to make. All the rest require 3 or 4 ingredients as in a manufacturer, so we just need 10 more assemblers. Like, give me 6 minutes. I know this whole thing seems a bit weird that we're just sort of arbitrarily putting down random numbers of these, and why is that doing... never mind. We're going to put you right there. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Perfect. But it's more a case of we're looking up exactly how much we're going to need, and then we're installing it now. Just getting it out of the way with it. I suppose another way to look at this, if you were normally doing this, you'd probably build everything, then realize what you're running short of and go back and fix it. But why? We've already got the calculator to work everything out for us, so we can just put this together, have everything ready, so then when we plug it all in, it just works. That kind of feels better to me. Oh, hey, do it your own way, I suppose. That's the joy of Satisfactory. Yeah, just give me another 5 minutes while I finish this sucker off. Ah, look at all those beautiful computers being produced. Sorted. Well, that's another thing to tick off the list. Getting ever so close, much closer to the end game. Now, what did we got here? We have heavy modular frames. No, we import all of you. We do not need you anymore. Next up, we have high-speed controllers. Nope, don't need you either. We import all of you too. So, nice. What is this? You are adaptive control units. Ew. Yeah. Wait, aren't you fed by automated wiring? Maybe I'm thinking of something else. Nope, you are fed by automated wiring. Oh, please tell me I didn't do the same thing again. I did, didn't I? Yeah, I got one feeding into the other, but on the same row. I think what we'll do, though, is we might just delete these high-speed controllers back here. Get rid of them. That'll give us space, and then we can fit them in, because we're going to need to put in how many? 16 adaptive control units and 16 automated wiring. Oh, well, that's, this is going to be tough. Yeah, I'm going to need to grab a tea. Actually, I've changed my mind. I am not going to build these here. It's just there's not enough space. I've been checking, and the distance back to the cliffs and all that, we're never going to fit 16 manufacturers in a row. In fact, we're going to need 32 manufacturers. We can't fit them in here. I think we'll leave these until we get to the end of the bus. They require heavy modular frames, computers... Yeah, no, all of this can make it to the end of the bus and we'll build it there. Instead, we'll just continue on. What have we got here? We've got smart plating and modular engines. Oh, okay. Checking on my list here. For smart plating, we need 2, which we appear to have, and modular engines, we need 5. Was this about the point I started realizing exactly how big I was going to have to build and I started building things to the right scale? You know what? I don't know, but we're going to say perfect. That is excellent. Next up, we've got radio control units. For that, we need 4. Oh, easy peasy. Like 2 minutes and we're all done. That was simple. Oh, God. So much nicer when you... I really do like this bus design for just... Yeah, we tack stuff on and it's done. Assuming we have enough space to the right of us, of course, to put the things in. Now we've got to do electromagnetic control rods. Now, according to my list, we need 2.5 of those. Or we could just overclock one. Actually, considering how... It's an assembler. You know what? I'm just going to stick one in. How hard can it be? You know what I mean? And there goes our first control rod from there. Excellent. This is... We're getting so close. So close. Come on, come on, come on, come on. What's next, next, next? Don't be difficult, don't be difficult. You want to be batteries. Batteries you require 4. Oh, God. These things are pretty huge, but we can just stick on 2 more. Sulfur, alclad, plastic, and wire. Wait. Wire? Where's the wire coming from? Why is there wire? That was only mildly painful. We just had to put down 1 battery manufacturer and 1 wire producer to feed into it. And, well, okay, we had to repeat that twice. Now we've got 4 full-on battery manufacturers going on. And that's taken care of that problem. Alright, we must be close to the end. We're getting right near to the end of the factory. We must have boosted almost all the production. We're on supercomputers. According to the list, we need 3.4. Or I could just jam it full of overclockers. Yeah, that might work. There we go. 4 per minute for each one of them. That means each one requires 9 wire per minute. And since we've overclocked this, or double overclocked this one, they're both getting their 90 wire per minute from that. And done. We have got supercomputers successfully completed. Dear Lord. Okay, come on, come on. So close, so close. According to my list, for fused modular frames, we need 2.7 producers of them. We already have 2. Third one doesn't seem that difficult to tack on. I mean, we could overclock, but This one just seems like I'd be being super lazy at that point. 3 fused modular frames finished. Then for the turbo motors, it turns out you only need 0.72. Okay, that's nothing. Over here we have... Oh, heat sinks. Heat sinks we need 1.2. Well, we got 2 of those. Done. And last whip, we've got cooling systems, of which we need exactly 1. Alright. I think we've got all the basics done. We have knocked out all of the basic stuff. All we need now is the stuff that goes into the actual space elevator, which is, yep, can't afford it, can I? And that gives us access to the final 4 objectives we have been building to for so long. Now, realistically, we didn't have to plan to build as many per minute as we did. Honestly, it's not worth it. I think we'll be able to build them in about 8 hours, assuming our production numbers all work out. But realistically, it took us, what, like 50 or 80 hours to get to this point? We would have been better off just throwing together a much smaller amount and then just letting it run overnight or something. But there's no fun in that, is there? Anyway, to build that, we're going to need 3 different machines. We're going to need the manufacturer, which will give us access to, let's see, the thermopropulsion rocket. That actually requires modular engines, which are already on the bus. The smart plating is actually fed into those, so the modular engines don't need anything. We just need to chuck down some thermopropulsion rocket facilities, and all the resources can just come directly off the bus into that one. The adaptive control units will have to build, though. It's going to take 16 manufacturers to make those, and 16 manufacturers making these, feeding into it to make that work. Everything there is on the bus by the alternative flexible framework, so we'll need flexible framework to feed into these, but yeah, those 2 should be taken care of. Then after that, all that's left is, the pressure cubes. Easy peasy, we can make those in here. Also, where is it? Ah, yes, the assembly director. The assembly director is in here as well, and that requires those adaptive control units we'll be making in the other building. And then, last but not least, we'll also need to be put together nuclear pasta, which is going to require all that copper powder we put together earlier today. Oh, but that's for the next episode. There's a bunch of stuff I left out that I did in the background because there was loads of upgrading we had to do. Namely, aluminum had to be upgraded. We needed a whole bunch more of that. We had to double the aluminum casing production. And we had to outsource the steel beam production because we needed space for it. Our base is just a little bit changed after all of that. Some areas are a little bit longer and extended to provide us with the resources we need, but I think this all worked out quite nicely. I think next episode is going to be our final one. We'll actually get to the end of it. I'll have to finish it and then let it run for about 8 hours to actually get all the way to the end. But once we're finished, we should be able to generate... We'll dump all the excess that we need to have once the space elevator thing has been knocked out, and we should be able to generate about, I think it's like 7 million points or something per minute out of the scrapper to in the awesome sink. Something like that. I'll have to do work at the maths on that, but we should have more than enough to knock out any little objectives we want. If there's anything you'd like to see me do as well, just before we finish it out, let me know. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and good luck.